Hey everybody, Frozen Fan 420 here. It's 11:57 p.m. on Monday, February 21st, 2022. And we're continuing Fast Food February, and today it's my thoughts on Dunkin', which most of you used to know as Dunkin' Donuts. By initials DD, it's an American multinational coffee and donut company as well as a quick service restaurant founded by William Rosenberg in Quincy, Massachusetts in 1950. The chain was acquired by Baskin-Robbins holding company Allied Lions in 1990, and the acquisition of the Mr. Donut chain, the conversion of the chain to Dunkin' Donuts, facilitated the brand's growth in North America that year. Dunkin' and Baskin-Robbins immediately became subsidiaries of Dunkin' Brands, headquartered in Canton, Massachusetts, and in 2004, until being purchased by Inspired Brands on December 15, 2020. The chain began rebranding as Beverly Company and was renamed Dunkin' in January 2019. While stores in the U.S. began using a new name, the rebranding will eventually be rolled out to all of its international stores. They have approximately 12,900 locations in 42 countries. Dunkin' is one of the largest coffee shop and donut shop chains in the world. Its products include donuts, bagels, coffee, and Munchkin donut holes. William Rosenberg opened the Open Kettle in 1948, selling donuts and coffee in Quincy, Massachusetts, but changed Dunkin' Donuts in 1950. He conceived the idea of the restaurant that experience of selling food in factories and at construction sites where donuts and coffees were the two most popular items. The restaurant was successful. Rosenberg sold franchises to others starting in 1955. In 1963, his son Robert became CEO of the company at the age of 25, and it opened its 100th location that year. It was a subsidiary of Universal Food Systems at the time, a conglomerate of 10 small food service businesses. And Dunkin' Donuts locations vary greatly in their menu options, with some selling full breakfast and others serving donuts and coffee. In the following years, the other businesses in the Universal Food Systems portfolio were either sold or closed, and the company was renamed to Dunkin' Donuts. The menu shop format standardized various new menu items were introduced. In the early 80s, counter service coffee cups were replaced by self-service counters and paper cups. The chain went public in 1968. It was acquired by Baskin-Robbins owner Allied Lions in 1990. By 1998, the brand had grown to 2,500 locations worldwide and $2 billion in annual sales. Dunkin' Donuts expanded in the 90s by buying out its two rival chains, Mr. Donut and Don Donuts. At some point, the chain produced a donut specifically designed for Dunkin' with a handle. It was discontinued in 2003, except in Singapore, because it was hand-cut and uneconomical compared to the machine-cut donuts. It was sold to Bain Capital, Carlyle Group, and Thomas H. Lee Partners for $2.4 billion in December of 2005. By 2010, Dunkin' Donuts' global sales were $6 billion. In the Natick, Massachusetts, Dunkin' Donuts led a program to test the concept of curbside pickup in December of 2016. In January of 2018, they began to open new concept locations, getting in Quincy, featuring modern decor, cold beverages on tap, and single brewing cup brewing machine, more packaged tea options, and pick-up lines, remote ordering inside and in the drive-thru. The concept was described as being a part of a shift towards becoming an on-the-go beverage-led brand. In addition, the locations as well as others began to trial signage referring to the chain simply Dunkin', removing donuts from its name. They announced to phase out polystyrene foam cups globally for environmental purposes until April of 2020. And David Hoffman took over from Nigel Travis to become the CEO and add 1,000 new locations outside the northeastern U.S. by the end of 2020 and have a revenue increase of 3% for stores open a year or longer. In late 2018, they installed espresso machines in all possible locations and launched espresso products using a new recipe. And they also partnered with Grubhub in June of 2019 to begin the rollout of its Dunkin' Delivery service, and they had partnered with Beyond Meat to create a meatless breakfast sandwich in Manhattan, becoming the first U.S. restaurant to serve Beyond Sausage. It was launched nationally later in 2019. They had a lawsuit against Dunkin' missing out a series of brute force cyber attacks. It took place in 2015. The company was glazing over cyber attacks. And Dunkin' stated the company was in conversation with Inspired Brands, a private equity-backed company negotiating to sell the company. They announced on Saturday, October 31st, Halloween 2020, that they would be acquiring Dunkin' Brands Group for $11.3 billion, which will Dunkin' Brands debt that Inspire Brands would be taking on Inspire to pay $106.50 in cash for each of Dunkin's brand shares. On December 15th, 2020, The acquisition completed. Dunkin' brand ceased to exist as a separate company, with Dunkin', Baskin-Robbins, and the trademark management of Mr. Jones becoming a part of Inspire Brands. Now, the marketing, Dunkin' Donuts' Store of the Trip campaign had Fred the Baker using the catchphrase, "Time to make the donuts," and was honored some Television Bureau of Advertising, one of the 5 best television advertisements of the 80s. He was played by Michael Vale for 15 years until his retirement in 1997. The catchphrase was used in the title of William Rosenberg's autobiography, Time to Make the Donuts. The founder of Dunkin' Donuts shares an American journey. And of course, they had the They Might Be Giant songs in 2006 and in 2007. Rachel Ray also was in it, as well as Michelle Malkin. You Can Do It. And they teamed up with Massachusetts Shoe Factory, so kind of a strawberry frosted donut themed running shoe to commemorate the 102nd running of the Boston Marathon. And of course, the logo was. They've gone over many changes with their logo. Their ad agency is BBDO. They're affiliated with many teams like the Red Sox and the Patriots, the New York Mets, New York Yankees, Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles, and Tampa Bay Rays. And in 2001, they purchased naming rights for the Providence Civic Center, renamed the Dunkin' Donuts Center, home to the Providence Flyers men's basketball team, Providence College hockey team, and the Providence Bruins. And also for the Hartford Yard Goats, Dunkin' Donuts Park, and they became the coffee donut breakfast sandwich partner of the NHL. Lots of locations across the United States. They closed 800 shops in the U.S. by the end of the year, and 20% of our sales second quarter during the COVID-19 pandemic. International, they've had some in They left the Australian market in 2014. Brazil opened in 1980. Colombia opened in 1983. 2014, they relaunched in England, but they opened in Harrow, London. And also the Nordic region in Sweden, but they would close immediately. Then in Denmark, they reopened. Of course, there was one in Warsaw, Poland. And then they reached South Africa. They went to Spain, Canada, Lebanon, Japan, and Israel. And they're expanding to even more countries. So Dunkin' Donuts is going strong. They have their coffee drinks, iced coffee, cold brew, the lattes, iced lattes, macchiatos, cappuccinos, the Dunkachinos, the munchkins, their donuts, the breakfast sandwiches, coffee culotta, toast, their bagels, muffins. So whatever you like from Dunkin' Donuts, or Dunkin', however you want to say it, it's a great place to get donuts and a coffee. It's perfect. You can't do any better than that. You really can't. So what's your favorite menu item from Dunkin'? Please let me know in the comment section and I'll be happy to read it. So thank you so much for letting me talk to you about Dunkin'. So another episode of Fast Food February is coming up, and next one's going to be on Papa John's, so you don't want to miss that. So stay tuned. Don't go away.